Hello, everyone. This is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools.com, and this is your 2023 Special Alignments audio. Now, something special happened this year where it got to be a little too much, so I broke it into 3 parts. This one is going to cover the Mars activations. So this update covers the special alignments happening in 2023. Each and every year has its own flavor and specific activations to deal with or navigate. This year, Jupiter will move from Aries to Taurus, and North Node will move from Taurus to Aries. So both of these energies and lessons are up for us socially and collectively throughout the year of 2023. Their lessons always have to do with you, the individual, and your personal values and priorities, and how all that guides your choices and actions along the way. Jupiter has a 12-year cycle that moves in 3-year increments, moving our education and consciousness along, while the North Node is a 20-year cycle that moves in 5-year increments, moving our life path and direction along. Being at the beginning of the zodiac also indicates a huge reset for the social collective levels, and of course, anyone with these signs activated. This also indicates that the next 3 to 5 years are anchoring the bigger cycles of 12 to 20 years, all tied to how we navigate the social realms in particular, what we believe to be true or possible for ourselves, and which choices take us in the direction of our chosen goals. Mars moves the fastest and will have the most contacts with other planets in a way that will shape and direct your personal year. Finally, I cover the general vibe in the 2023 energetic overview, also linked in here. But this post is to just cover how they interact with others during 2023. For our purposes, I will go over them in the order they happen, and I will synthesize them along the way. And now for your Mars activations. Here I cover the initiations, which are conjunctions, because they are the most rare, only happening every 2 years, and the tests are squares because they will be the most impactful and obvious. However, Mars will have several sextiles, which are opportunities to gain traction, and it will have trines with the social collective planets, which are ease and grace that could be worked with consciously too. They will be covered in the regular weekly forecast throughout the year, but I wanted you to have a heads up on the special ones. Co-creating with Mars is about getting to know your own desire nature, what motivates you to the choices you make and actions you take. It is your inner masculine that knows how to negotiate on your own behalf, get your ideas in the world, and hold good boundaries. Following who it interacts with will have a unique alchemical mix of energies only available in 2023. We're also kicking it off as it hits Cancer after retrograding in Gemini, lingering August 22 to March of 23. So Mars enters Cancer March 25th of 2023, and March 30th, its first contact is a trine to Saturn. This is a delicious and potent combo. It's like a great father-son working on a project type of energy. The son has all the muscle, energy, and enthusiasm, and the father is the brilliant, steady man who directs that energy and teaches in every moment. Internally, this is your inner authority guiding your innate desire nature to the tangible results it so craves. Saturn brings the long-term goals to the table, and Mars's energy can fuel your efforts, creating amazing results. This energy enables you to focus longer, attend to the details better, overcome obstacles, and get more tangible results of your actions and choices. Normally, these two get together and it's more the tortoise and the hare energy, which can be frustrating for some. However, they are in an easy angle here, and if there is any major project which needs your attention, now is the time you will likely be in the mood to tackle it and be completely supported. Ashe. Thank you, God. On April 29th, Mars will sextile Uranus. This energy gives you the inspiration and original ideas that will fuel new action steps in your personal life. Patience and discipline are not the theme when these two get together, so beware of any urge to change just for the sake of change. But if you're ready for a radical shift within or around you, then this activation could give you the clarity to break through any long-standing blockages. This energy, when consciously directed, can actually break you out of any ruts that you've been in, inspire and motivate you to authentic change. You have energy and the illuminating aha moments which propel you to a new, enlivened state of being. Although it may upset folks around you who would rather you keep things status quo, Think outside the box, improvise, try something new or in a new way, engage in activities you've never tried, and try to connect with a new and different circle of people. Deep breath. Now you got to think this is all while Mars is in Cancer. First hit was to Saturn in Pisces, so watery, thinking with our feelings and being practical about our emotional security and the things that we really actually need and need to take action on. And then Uranus in Taurus. So here again, we're working with the body and the mind, getting that alignment. Now it's going to trine Neptune on May 15th. So now we get into our spiritual practices that support and nourish and protect us. Cancer energy, when Mars is in Cancer, it's the warrior for self-care. It's part of you that wants to take care of yourself and do some nurturing and replenishment. So as we're replenishing our individual selves, we can consider the social collective and these particular interactions. So Mars trining Neptune is an energy good for spiritual exploration, digging deeper into your place in the cosmos and in relation to others. Your energy is best turned inward as you find just how much who you are and what you want has changed over recent years, and using this energy to infuse more depth into your heart's desires. I would say more soul. By infusing your dreams and visions for yourself, you naturally bless others in the universe. You may feel inclined to help others, but always balance that drive with some objectivity. Are those you're helping just as dedicated as you are to the common cause? We have to ask the question. Is everyone equally invested? This is a very laid-back energy that allows you time to take effective action on behalf of your dreams and/or spiritual growth. More than outward action or specific steps, okay? So this is internal work, so enjoy it. This is also the first stop after the retrograde, after we've been rewired and connected to a whole new mental body and all new ideas and creative ideas that we want to express going forward, and options and decisions and choices to make. As it moves through Cancer, we have to tend to ourselves to see how much we can really handle of that new dream and vision that we're trying to call in. May 20th, it slips into Leo and immediately opposes Pluto at 0 Aquarius Leo. So this is another juicy, powerful initiation. Mars will do this every 2 years for 20 years, so 10 times over. So we're going to do a lot of work on the lower will and our higher will, getting in alignment, getting that balance and integration that an opposition promises. But it also brings tension and the need to balance and integrate whatever you're dealing with at the time. It's not a good time to be selfish, go it alone, or let your ego lead. Something you did not consider may become obvious and force you to change in some fundamental way. You may have to decide if the path you are on at this time is really going to lead you to the destination you originally chose. If you have been clear about your desires and willing to sacrifice, work hard and consistently, this energy will activate a turning point. You will have access to energy and passion that propels you forward when based in love, light, and truth. However, if your ego has been leading, you may find yourself at an impasse. This energy is all about power, and with that power comes great responsibility. Be very careful of abusing that power, as it will likely backfire on you. Deep breath. So this is, at a deeper level, a reminder around our self-love, self-worth issues. So I always like to drop in, especially now that Pluto's dipping its toes into Aquarius and about to take up residency for 20 years. Leo is the self-love that is connected to your authentic self, that part of you that can shine your unique light and have no fear or phobias or insecurities about that. Knowing that your essence is a shining light and one expression of the divine. We are all many different expressions of the divine. And when we're rooted in that kind of self-love in the Leo department of our lives, we tend to be magnetic and magnanimous and just a bright light it's kind of related to that essence of children who don't have any self-consciousness that we develop after we get into social circles and things in our teenage years going forward. It's that innocent child heart that Leo represents, that always sees the best in people and always sees the possibilities Across from that in Aquarius, the self-love, self-worth shows up in you believing that you have a unique contribution. So I always use myself as an example with the astrology and a million astrologers out there doing it for free. Why would anybody pay me? So I had to go narrow and deep, and I came up with my specialty of cycles and patterns. Not everybody does that, and nobody does it the Kelly way. So it ended up setting me apart and giving me that confidence that I have a unique voice that is good for the community. Aquarius is in service to the community. We want what's good for everyone. I want people to be aware of the energies, take the names and faces off because it's just energy, and start to direct it on your own behalf. We don't want to judge it as good, bad, right, or wrong. We just want to use it for whatever it's good for. And as Mars moves through Leo, it's going to stir some things up because the next move on the 23rd is to square off with Jupiter. This tells me there's a T-square going on between Jupiter, Pluto, and Mars. That's huge. That means that in some ways we have to shift our consciousness around who we are and what we want. And if we are able to do that, to make the changes and choices that are necessary right now that put us on a better path than we've been on, then we can do the integration of a new level of power. But if we stayed locked in at this point, then we might get abused with that power by side energies and influences. So we don't want to do that. But Mars square Jupiter, this energy can be expressed one of two ways, like most. You can overextend yourself and your resources, being overly optimistic without actually doing any planning or work, relying on luck alone. And unfortunately, this expression will basically make you pay double in more ways than one down the road. The better way to express this energy is to think of what you're doing today that can benefit you in the future. You have access to foresight, so use it to foresee what your ultimate goal is and what steps you can take today to make that happen. Okay, this makes me think of when I'm telling y'all to go to your older self, 5 or 10 years older than you are now, and ask them what they'd like you to be doing now to make their lives easier then, or to be in a better position by then. And trust me, as much as we go to the past and our innocent child and our what do they call it, working with the inner child, all of that going to the past stuff is great, but we need to be walking ahead a little bit to see what's happening down the road so that we can prepare properly to the extent we're able, or at least get strong enough to be adaptable and responsive so we can be spontaneous in that moment and respond to whatever's presented. Focus on what can be rather than what is right now. You also have access to increased energy and a desire to push your own limits, consciously or not, which can be useful, but not if you overdo it. Then you defeat the whole purpose. Calculated risk is okay. Impulsive reactions, not so much. This is also the energy of when things are good, they're very good. And when they're bad, they're terrible. So keep it positive, stay focused, and balance your input with your output, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Okay, Mars is you, the individual. Jupiter makes everything bigger. The square is a challenge, so any way that we're being challenged around our identity and purpose, or what we really want out of life, or what story we really want to tell, it's like we have to change certain aspects of ourselves in order to be able to tell that story. So what is it that you have to change in order to tell the story you want to tell? And you'll want to look in them Leo and Taurus departments. And Taurus is another zone of self-love and self-worth I talked about earlier around our creature comforts and personal securities. There's a certain level that a lot of us go to, and within our Taurus area, some people manifest it as a poverty consciousness. Other people manifest it as, a sort of luxury consciousness. I'm somewhere in the middle. I need a certain level of comfort and protection to feel like I am doing my part and worthy, right? So what's your level? And let's check in with that self-love and self-worth and self-value and what we're settling for. And are we looking around to see what's available and just taking what's out there? Or are we going within to determine what we really desire at the deepest heart and soul level, right? And then the last one in Leo, June 26th, squaring off with Uranus in Taurus, okay? This is the rebel energy. What's your cause? If you are clear about your own authentic truth and purpose, then this energy is refreshing and uplifting. You acknowledge that change is necessary and inevitable, and you co-create with this energy to transform your current life. This is a rebirth energy too, and being reborn is never easy. Worth it, but not easy. However, if you are not clear about who you are and what you're capable of, this energy shines a light on that aspect of your life, which you instinctively already know needs an overhaul, but for whatever reason, you are still holding on to old habits and negative patterns. Unwilling or unable to embrace change at this time, you only increase the feeling of being restricted by external energies. Your life is a direct reflection of what's going on inside you. How's it looking? Check your ego, recommit to your truth, and remember that change is good. And if you don't go voluntarily, read consciously, then you might get dragged to that next level, kicking and screaming, and you'll be so exhausted when you get there that you may miss the beauty in evolving to the next level. This is what you've been working toward, correct? Remember, conscious, effective action creates freedom. A deep breath. This is squares to our consciousness mostly, and an integration of our power that's necessary, again, around your unique essence, your unique contribution, your unique genius. Where are you at with your creativity and your self-expression, and where can you upgrade and try some new mediums and express a new level or a new aspect of yourself that maybe you just discovered. Our ages and stages continue to reveal new levels of consciousness as we go. All right, we're getting up to summertime. July 10th, Mars moves into Virgo. So July 20th, its first hit is in opposition to Saturn in Pisces. So we're back to our spirit and human form, our body and our spirituality, our spiritual practices and our physical practices. What's happening? This energy is a mixed blessing, so watch any extreme swings one way or another. Mars is all about energy, passion, and movement. And Saturn is all about stability, structure, and foundation. When they are opposite each other, there can be a beautiful blend of energy and passion behind solid, productive work that yields long-term benefits. However, if you swing to petulant Mars, I want my way, then Saturn's response is it will be done the right way or not at all. This energy brings lessons either way, usually around anger issues or long-standing upsets. You may feel held back, although nothing could be further from the truth. The reality is that you have to do certain things first, and if and when you do things in order, success usually follows. If and when you rush and do things without thinking or planning, then mistakes inevitably follow, and you have to do things over again. This is also the halfway mark in a 2-year cycle that gives you the opportunity to check in and see how things are progressing and make any necessary adjustments so that you are successful at the culmination of the current cycle. Deep breath. And we say, look at the signs for more specifics, but we've already talked about Virgo Pisces. What I'm curious about is what the initiation was in. A year ago, that would have had to have been in Aquarius because that's where Saturn was. So it initiated a new 2-year cycle, and the midpoint is falling in Virgo. So we have to check in with our system in some literal way, right? Saturn rules our physical body. Then on August 1st, it will trine Jupiter, Virgo to Taurus, the earthy energy. This is generally positive as you're combining your energy and desires with an expansion of consciousness. It's especially good for anything physical and bodes well for outcomes to any competition. You'll be channeling more energy than usual, so be sure to check in with your body and stay grounded. Jupiter often brings blessings that others may perceive as luck, but it is more of an alignment between inner and outer. Even if things are hazy or crazy, do your best to visualize success and put yourself in the picture. You will have a great overall perspective of the big picture and can plan accordingly. The only caveat with this energy is to avoid being overly confident, where you feel invincible. Be confident, but not cocky. This energy is good for knowing what you need and being capable of making succinct decisions about the course which will get you there. Calculated risks are the name of the game. Deep breath. Then on the 16th, it will trine Uranus in Taurus as well. So we get 2 trines back to back with the consciousness planets. This is a powerful combo. However, it has to be integrated and consciously expressed to yield the best results. Otherwise, you may miss an opportunity for a major personal breakthrough. Mars gives you the courage, and Uranus awakens new possibilities within. This is an easy alignment of your actions and your individual brilliance. You may even discover some new gift or talent that has been dormant for a while, but is now beginning to come to life. This energy pushes you to try something new that liberates you in some way that you may have previously felt daunted by in the past. Because of the easy angle too, this new evolution to the next level should not entail you having to annihilate any other aspect of your life. You will just intuitively know that it is time to change. It won't matter what others think or say either, because the prompting for change comes from within. So take advantage of this time to experiment. You never know where it will lead. Deep breath. This is late summer 2023. Then on August 22nd, it will oppose Neptune, Virgo Pisces again. Mars rules your ability to act on your own behalf, and Neptune is the planet of dreams, visions, and spirituality, among other things. One is very personal and direct, and one is very general and elusive. When these two are opposite each other, there is a push-pull between the actions you want to take and the actions you believe you're capable of taking. Often, this activation helps you balance faith and action. That is, if you can be clear about who you are, what you want, and what you believe is possible. It can also activate irrational fears and unfounded doubts. Oppositions always require balance to be useful and effective, even though we usually have to go through the experience of extremes to figure that out. These are two very diverse energies that have to compromise in order to strike a balance that will facilitate flow. It may be hard to decide what you really want, and communication with others tends to go awry. This energy obscures things right in front of you, but can make very clear that the current consequences are related to your past choices. It is best to own your choices and/or mistakes and do whatever damage control you can at this point. The one thing that this combination of energies is favorable for is working in solitude on a project that needs completion. This will give you the energy to go the distance, as well as the tenacity to overcome obstacles which delayed you previously. If you end up in this mode, do your work, put the final touches on everything, but then wait a week or two before sharing it with others. Deep breath. I would also have to say, anytime we're dealing with Neptune, we got to work on our personal boundaries. And Virgo Pisces brings that back up too, because we're intuitive and sensitive and empathic and psychic, and we're picking up all kinds of different things. We need to be able to filter through them. What's about me? What's about everybody else? What do I need to focus on? What's a distraction? Is this relevant and useful? Is this fact or truth? Is this a hidden potential or a blind spot that can hurt me? We got to run it through the filters when we're dealing with Neptune. And the last one in Virgo on August 24th trines Pluto, which must be back in Capricorn. This is an active, transformative energy that will help you to change your life in a healthy, positive way. You may have the energy and inclination to make major personal and permanent changes to who you are and what you want on a deep soul level. Because it's a trine, it promises more ease than is usually associated with Pluto, and in this case makes transformation smoother. You may be especially focused on what needs to be done or changed in your life at this time. You will want to take action, and the universe supports that decision as long as it is righteous and not totally self-serving. This is a good time to get moving, take action regarding your long-term goals, and you will be able to create some momentum. You may realize some of your recent actions or choices do not necessarily support your deepest drives or desires. As you get in alignment within and without, the results can be miraculous. Be creative and be brave. Deep breath. So again, with your physical and spiritual practices that also come up when Virgo Pisces is kicking, all these earth signs, get back in the body, get on the ground. Plus, this will be harvest time. By that time, we're approaching pre-harvest anyway. And it's time to start assessing the year and getting practical about what really worked and what didn't. Virgo is always a special time of year. Then Mars will enter Libra August 27th. Doesn't hit anybody until October 8th. That's kind of interesting. That's probably not entirely true, because I think in the segment on the North Node activations, there's a lot of interaction with Mars through every one of these signs. I didn't want to put it in here, though, because it was just going to make the Mars one that much longer. And I'd love you to stay focused on the life path and direction when we're talking about the North Node. Definitely check that one out, too. So it looks like as it hits Libra and then October 8th squares off with Pluto in Capricorn, it's the only thing it's going to hit while it's in Libra. This is a test of what you are made of on the deepest core level and will require surrender and a degree of self-awareness to navigate. This energy challenges you to evolve and will make you want to push through any obstacles, but you must be careful not to be so aggressive that you're stepping on anyone to get where you're going. This is a potent energy that can facilitate major transformation in your life if you know who you are, what you want, and what you're willing to sacrifice to get there. That includes parts of yourself that may need to shift in order for you to be more effective in life. This energy can bring power struggles within or without, so be mindful because this energy is affecting everyone at this time. It's time to tie up any loose ends if you are close to beginning anew. If you do not finish what you have already have in the works, it may get in the way of things that you want to do in the future. It's time to align your true inner power with balanced outer actions and choices. Deep breath, being very conscious about that lower will, higher will squaring off. In Libra, it's who you are and what you want around your relationships and partnerships and collaborations. But again, Pluto is transforming you, the individual. So there's still something that has to change inside you before you can have those interactions with others in a successful way or by your own definition. Then October 12th, it slips into Scorpio and immediately on the 13th, trines Saturn in Pisces. This is a delicious and potent combo. Here we are back to that great father-son working on a project type of energy. So this came up earlier when it was in Cancer. So see how the water sign, Cancer to Pisces, and now we have Scorpio to Pisces. So this is deep because Mars is going to make its rounds and still connect with Saturn in this good, positive way. But now it's going to be a different department of life. Before it was the Cancer department. Remember we were talking about self-care back then. Now it's about your power and your creativity and what are you incubating that Saturn can help you bring into form. So taking that energy of Mars and that stamina and patience of Saturn and tapping into those long-term goals of what you're incubating now, what you're seeding now. Scorpio time is behind the scenes. This is the things where we say seeds germinate in the darkness. Scorpio gives us access to military discipline. So there's this power and discipline that comes with this activation in October. That's a little different from the Cancer one. The Cancer one was very internal. And again, we were just coming out of the Gemini retrograde. There was a lot to sort of replenish and reset. Now we'll be coming into our own power by that fall. While it's in Scorpio, it's going to oppose Jupiter on October 28th. Same day, I put it in here because they're all related. Mercury is going to oppose Jupiter, and then Mercury and Mars that means Mercury and Mars are together. So because it's all Mars related, Mercury is how we think and our ideas, thoughts, and concepts. Jupiter is our consciousness and the expansion of all that. This is just a wild combo all through the 28th and 29th of October. So we need to take them all together. This energy is perfect for working on your grand vision. This is Mars opposite Jupiter. And that is exactly what you'll feel like doing under this influence. Anything or anyone that blocks you from that should be consciously and kindly dealt with and then get to it. Mars is action and Jupiter is expansion, and they are dancing together. It can be a selfish, undirected dance where no one wins, or it can be the beginning of something huge. You are using this energy to access the single-mindedness of Mars to accomplish the huge goals of Jupiter. The downfall of this energy is to allow the Mars ego, sometimes considered edging God out, to lead when it serves a better purpose, being the strength, not necessarily the strategy, and allow Jupiter's connection to the higher truth for you, guide you on your path. The Jupiter in you sees the bigger picture, your infinite potential that it longs to fulfill. Get out of your own way, watch the inclination to overdo everything or anything, spending, physical activity, overpromising and underdelivering, etc. Stay within your physical limits, but expand the limits of your consciousness. Robert Hand says the sense of timing of your actions may leave you and others amazed and sure that you are lucky. But really you have succeeded because you have a complete understanding of the situation. Deep breath. So sometimes when we're opposite our beginnings, we can see things much more clearly. Oppositions always bring a course-correcting time. So again, there's something that has to integrate within you, okay? So with squares, you have to change something. With an opposition, you have to integrate something in order to tell that story you're looking to tell. Now, let's see what happens when Mercury is opposite from Jupiter. So we got Mars opposite Jupiter. Mercury opposite Jupiter says any opposition requires us to work with two distinct energies and get them to work together for the good of all involved. It is also a midpoint, which allows you that 180-degree view from the other side of your starting point roughly 6 months ago. Mercury and Jupiter are working out the push-pull within you between your mind and consciousness, between your thinking and beliefs, between your thoughts and imagination, between the tedious details and the grand vision. Because of all this, it would be tremendously beneficial to play amongst a group of like-hearted souls with varying points of view, mavericks who follow their own intuition, as well as humble healers who also buck the status quo by following their intuitive knowing within, something we all have the capacity for. This is great for what I call jam sessions, when my colleagues and I get together to discuss our ideas and insights about our professional goals. Something like that is a great use of this energy. Plan, strategize, discuss with others, get input and feedback, bounce ideas around, and be open and receptive to others' points of view. They may think of something that you didn't. Make sure it is a circle where all opinions are valued, even if not shared. This is a good one for learning something new and looking at things from another angle completely. Deep breath. So put it all together. Mercury conjunct Mars is huge. I have to preface this with two things. One is when Mercury is involved, it is a relatively fast-moving energy. Two is when Mars is involved, being the lower version of power, Pluto being the higher version, reminds us that with power also comes responsibility. Now, that all said, the positive expression of this energy is that you can control your mind and direct it with passion, getting tangible results. This heightens your intellectual ability and mental capacity for better or worse. You will also be able to clearly articulate your thoughts, and you should have quick, effective responses. If you maintain your integrity, this is an excellent time to fuel any major creative expression. If this energy manifests its negative side, it can make you petty and combative, arguing over nonsense and wasting precious time and energy in ego control dramas. And if it is not coming from you, it is just as possible to be coming at you from others under this influence. This is the best time to put your energy behind your thoughts, ideas, and words. Energy is Mars' department, and your thoughts, ideas, and words is Mercury's department. So put them together and get creative. The power of this pairing is that they are occupying the same space, essentially energizing each other and initiating a new 2-year cycle. So, see what I mean? This is who you are and what you want, integrating something to expand the story because you have some new ideas, thoughts, and concepts to express. This is a new day, especially after a year of Mercury going backwards in Earth signs. We're going to be very clear by the end of October when it hits Mars, and who you are and what you want gets activated to that whole new level in preparation for 2024, which is going to be a completely different vibration too. Then on 11/11, we're still dealing with Mars and Scorpio is very busy. This is probably the busiest one. It's going to oppose Uranus. It already opposed Jupiter. Now it's opposing Uranus. This is a mixed blessing. On one hand, this energy can bring on impulsive, reactionary behavior. You can have sudden outbursts of anger or frustration with a strong need to be free from whatever you are perceiving as a limitation or holding you back, whether it's a person or circumstance. The best use of this energy is to consciously direct your energy to free yourself from any restrictions, self-imposed or otherwise. This is a time when you will be extremely motivated to do whatever it takes to live freely by your own definition. Do not suppress this energy, as that will only make it blow up in your face at the most inconvenient time, usually too. Use this activation to check yourself and determine what you deeply desire, what your definition of freedom really is, and what you are willing to do to live a more authentic life. 11/11, what a day to walk through the gates, yo. Then on the 17th, it's going to trine Neptune, Scorpio to Pisces, back in that deep waters, Zolokun territory. This energy is good for spiritual exploration, digging deeper into your place in the cosmos and in relation to others. Your energy is best turned inward as you find just how much who you are and what you want has changed over recent years, and is using this energy to infuse more depth of soul into your heart's desires. By infusing your dreams and visions for yourself, you naturally bless others in the universe. You may feel inclined to help others, but always balance that drive with some objectivity. Are those you're helping just as dedicated as you are to the common cause? This can be a very laid back energy that allows you time to take effective action on behalf of your dreams and spiritual growth, more than outward action in specific steps. So, this is another internal reset going on within. And we have to think about our boundaries because it's Neptune. And then not too long later, a couple days later, it hits Saturn. So, we can dream it up and then we can manifest it too, with these two being back to back. Then on November 21st, Mars will sextile Pluto. This is Scorpio to Capricorn, another powerful combo for manifesting, for bringing into form, for co-creating your reality at a whole new level. This is lower will meets higher will again within you. Mars is your inner masculine and therefore helps you take action and make choices according to who you are and what you want. Pluto will ensure that you come from the purest place within, which is your soul level, and which often entails a cleansing of the non-essential and overgrowth of the last cycle first. Luckily, this is not a hard or bad quote-unquote activation, but an opportunity to connect with what you really want at the deepest soul level, which will naturally lead to whatever is blocking that and its ultimate release. Keep in mind that those who are more out of touch with who they are and what they want tend to explode or implode when Mars and Pluto get together, even in a positive aspect like this one. This is a potent and thankfully positive mix of energy and power coming together. Direct it wisely on your own behalf. This activation is a great opportunity for substantial forward movement. However, nothing worthwhile comes without conscious effort and sacrifice. With Pluto involved, there is always a sacrifice. In this case, the sacrifice will likely be where your vision of the final outcome is concerned. Your desires can and will be fulfilled, but they just may not look like you thought they would. Remember, when it comes to wanting anything, stay in touch with the feeling that your desire brings, rather than the physical appearance or manifestation. You always want to set your intentions, do the work, then allow spirit to breathe life into that vision. Deep breath. So yes, creating space for what you're calling in as if it's already arrived. That's what increases the magnetics to draw it to you faster. Then Mars will slip into Sagittarius November 24th. And on the 25th, it will square Saturn in Pisces. So now it's Sag to Pisces. It's our beliefs and it's our other dimensions and other realities clashing, right? So Sag is super optimistic and Saturn in Pisces is trying to get realistic and get grounded in ways and not be overwhelmed. So this can be a tricky energy to navigate, but it is mostly mental and it has to do with your processing. We're processing the evolution of your reality this year, okay? And what that means to you personally, because Mars has to do with you, the individual. When it squares off with Saturn, this is the energy of action being restricted and the anger or frustration that follows. You can either be angry and feel restricted, limited, and unable to move, or you can see this energy as an opportunity to define the right actions to take and strategically plan to take them when the universe is more supportive. This energy requires us to slow down and double check the plan. If you proceed consciously, your plan has a better chance of success than if you were reckless and impatient. You may experience a blockage of some sort, internal or external. You may feel this tremendous urge to change or move forward in your life, but seem to find blockages and limitations with every effort. That is likely your perception, so it is good to ask yourself if some part of you may feel inadequate to the task at hand. What are you afraid of? Fear is false evidence appearing real. Release fear and choose to be responsible for creating your life. If you don't, your outer circumstance only becomes a reflection of your inner belief. You will attract more criticism and repel support. Take your grand vision and figure out 3 small steps you can take on this restricted level that is still taking you in the direction of your goal. Don't try to initiate it this time. This is a time for cultivating, planning, working behind the scenes, doing the detail work and foundational work, also known as the grunt work, that is necessary to support the grand vision when the time comes to fully express it. Okay, deep breath. So Mars and Saturn have to battle it out to get the pieces in place correctly if they're going to last. You could do a quick fix, but then it might not be stable. Now it's a month later, it'll square Neptune. So now we'll see where we've been deluded in some way and perhaps investing in potential when we should be looking at the reality of it. So this can be an annoying energy to say the least. Basically, you may be confronted with challenges which are a direct result of earlier choices. These are the kind of choices you eventually realized were wrong and hoped the consequences would somehow pass you by. Not so much. You may feel very discouraged, possibly depressed, and be filled with fear and doubt under this influence. The key to getting through this energy is to take a step back, reflect on your choices and what led you to this point, and as objectively as possible, evaluate what went wrong. The tendency with this energy is to want to give up completely on the path you have chosen when all that is probably necessary is a little tweaking. Try to identify the aspect that is causing the conflict. If you don't feel that you can be objective enough or that you struggle with identifying this aspect, enlist 2 other people to give you their opinion and then follow your gut instinct on the direction to take from there. The other temptation with this energy is to be deceptive, either to yourself or others. Either way, don't give in. It will only come back to bite you harder later. Your physical energy is likely to be low as well. Do not force yourself to do anything you are truly not feeling right now. Instead, meditate on what action may be necessary when your energy returns. Be still, avoid confrontations with others as it is just the energy pushing you out of comfort zone and into new territory. This is a test of sorts, and the best way to deal with it is to face your fears and clarify your desires. My personal 2 cents about these 2 planets, Mars and Neptune, in a difficult angle is to reflect on what actions, Mars, have been taken and not worked toward the fulfillment of your dreams, Neptune's department, and start your tweaking there. Deep breath. So it's also, like I said, this challenge between your consciousness and your beliefs and your faith. It might be a little challenge. What do they call it? A crisis of faith when we start questioning everything. Not a bad idea to question everything, but just remember that whatever you believe often becomes true for you. So we want to stay as positive as possible and enlist our invisible team of angels, ancestors, and animal spirit guides anytime we're dealing with Neptune. And again, with checking in with the boundaries. That'll be the end of the year, and it'll be time to set up a whole new structure for the incoming year of 2024. As Mars will enter Capricorn on January 4th, 2024, and that'll start a whole new rhythm. So that's all the Mars activations that are happening and will be guiding the whole entire year as it moves through signs. It spends about 2 months in the sign normally after that retrograde. So we're going to move through some evolution after the reset early in the year. I hope you found it all relevant and useful and marked your calendar for some good conscious co-creation. Reach out if you need to. This is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools, signing off.